Well, good morning, class. Today I'm going to go over with you how to prepare your presentations for Social Work 300. These instructions apply for whether you're using PowerPoint, Keynote, or Google Slides to prepare your presentation. The only difference there might possibly be is in the different tools that you're going to use with your software program. Now, this is just taking a look at an example of what your final PowerPoint presentation should look like. And these are the values and variables and their values. This would be your hypothesis and your bivariate rationale. And remember, this information is based off of your SPS handout crosstabs that you were given. And you're also going to include a hyperlink text, which if I click on it, it takes me to a more complete rationale of your presentation of your data. And then I can just simply click back and I'll show you how to do this in the next set of slides. So, and then here we have your multivariate, which is the same thing. It takes you to the full rationale and you'll create a clickable link that will take you back to that slide. You need to include your bivariate table, your findings in APA style table form. And this is very similar to the assignment that you completed for, I believe, exercise 1D. And this is what your multivariate table would look like with your control group. And in this case, it would be the race of the respondents. And then here is your graph, showing the relationship between family income and education. And this particular example is based off of the SPS handout and crosstab that is currently in the book, the example that you are to work from. And once again, here's the graph, and this is still a relationship between family income and education controlling for race. And our ultimate last slide that you would have, that would be a complete presentation of a complete explanation of your rationale for your topic. Now, here's how we do it. Here's a heavy lifting. So follow along carefully. Stop this video presentation if you need to. And then just pause and go back. And if you still have questions at the very end, be sure to contact me and let's sit for a one-on-one, or we can log in virtually and I can walk you through it. So once again, you see you have your title slide. That's slide number 1. I know here it says slide number 12, but remember with this, I'm working from my original PowerPoint. So part of this assignment is you're going to prepare a PowerPoint presentation on an SPS crosstab, which you selected. This is not the type of presentation that's meant to enhance an oral presentation or speech. It must be standalone. That means the viewer can understand it without any help other than what they see before them. And you're going to create 8 slides for this exercise. Technically, there's 9 slides, maybe 10 if you include the rationale as a separate slide. And if possible, you might also be including a reference page. Now, additional instructions and information is provided for you online in our course Learning Management System. And there are other video lectures that I have that go along with this particular assignment. Once again, you're going to have your variables and their values. Now, the easiest way to do this, I have found, and most students have found, is create a table in, oops, let me go back. Hope I can go back. Ooh. Oh, well, can't go back. Anyway, you would create a table, but I'll show you that in another one. So you have your hypothesis and rationale. And how to hyperlink to another slide, you would click an object or text box and then select where you want to turn into a link, choose add the link, and then put in the destination slide, which slide number you want the link to take you to. Your hypothesis and multivariate rationale, same thing, just like you did the other slide. And one of the things that's a little bit different, I'm actually going to give you students the template, and you will find this template in our course Learning Management System. And all you can do is just download it. It's actually already in PowerPoint form, or you can use it as a Google Slide document. And this causal model is already built for you, so you can just plug in your take out my information, the example information, and then plug in your information. Findings. Okay, when you're setting up your bivariate table, you want to add your title, your dependent variable title, and its values. So in this case, your dependent variable was family income, so you would put that there, and then you would have the dependent variable values. Then you need your independent variable, and in this case, it's going to be educational level. And then, of course, you're going to need your independent variable values. In this case, if we're talking about educational level, then the values of that variable are going to be as listed here. Oops, and one more thing. You won't need to start from scratch to create the multivariate slide, the next one. You can simply duplicate and copy this one, modify it as needed, resize the text boxes, copy and paste the table, replace the percentages with the correct ones, and create the variable name and value labels. It sounds a lot harder than it is, but it's really quite simple. And also, if you're using my template, it's already there for you. So I made your life a little bit easier. Okay, so your multivariate table, same thing. It must have a title, but the one thing you're including is a control variable. And in this case, the control variable was the race of the respondents, the people who responded to this. And don't forget your dependent variable, its values, your independent variable, and its values as well. So now, okay, here comes the good part. And I love this part. This is like really fun. So you have to create a chart, a graph in your slideshow presentation. With Keynote, it's very easy to do. And with PowerPoint, it's very easy to do. And with Google Slides, it's also easy to do. You just have to take a little time and a little patience, a little trial and error, and you'll be fine. So you are also going to need to include 2 bullet points. This first one, what you're going to write about this table is similar to a conclusion. It's just, you're just going to describe in plain English the relationship between your independent and dependent variables. And in this case, it's saying the more education a person has received, the greater the likelihood his or her family will be in a high income category. Now, this second little paragraph bullet point that you're going to write about is basically putting it in numbers. You're going to show it numerically that depicts a relationship using percentages. Very easy, because the percentages are already going to be there for you. How do you get that little chart? Well, in the software that you're using, there usually it'll let you create a chart. And when you create a chart, you've got to include your independent variable, your dependent variable, and its values. Simply pull that information from your cross tab, insert it, and it will create the chart for you. And don't forget to include your X and Y axis titles. Ooh, don't freak out right now. It sounds really hard, but it's not. This is super easy. I promise you. Okay, and then here is your multivariate your other graph controlling for race. Okay, and it's the same thing. You've got to fill in the blanks for these 2 paragraphs that you're going to write about. And remember, now you're controlling for race, so the words that you're going to use are going to be different, because now you're talking about your control variable. And once again, here's how you put together this chart or graph. What you're going to do is you just click on chart or graph. You're going to put in your dependent variables, its values. And since you're only looking at two races, 2 ethnicities, then you're only going to work with 2 and you'll be fine. And then your final slide, well, your next 2, probably slide number 9, is going to be your rationale, where you really go back, look at all the charts and graphs and tables that you've created and provide a rationale. Or more simply put, why do you believe the variables are related in the manner that you predicted? I want you to write 3 or 4 paragraph length narrative which describes your thinking about your hypothesis. Remember your bivariate and multivariate hypotheses? In other words, explain why you think the independent variable will affect the dependent variable and why the control variable will influence that bivariate relationship. Your paragraphs must be clear and concise. And once again, I apologize for reading directly off the slide, but I really need you to not perceive this as being super scary. And if you don't understand my words, then I've also written them out. So it's really simple. Take this in little bite-sized chewy pieces and you will be fine. So now, if you have any additional questions, contact me directly, and thank you so much for watching. Good luck. Bye.